Welcome to Latin for Non-Romans, or as I like to call it, Latin for Barbarians. Today we're going to cover the topic of demonstrative pronouns. In Latin, pronouns that are used to demonstrate a particular thing are called demonstrative pronouns. For example, this chariot, hic carus, not that chariot, non ille carus. As you can see, in the case of hic, hike, hoke, the demonstrative pronouns do have gender, number, and case. So I've laid out a chart for us below. See if you can follow along. Hic, hike, hoke, huius, 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 huic, 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 honk, honk, hoke, hoke, hawk, hoke for the singular. And for the plural, he, hi, hike, horum, harum, horum, he's, he's, hos, has, hike, he's, he's. And as you can see, again, your dative and ablative plurals repeat, so it's easy to remember if you keep that in mind. Okay, so we've covered a little bit of this. Now let's cover a little bit of that. Here's the demonstrative pronoun for that. Ille, ella, elud. Starting with the nominative singular, ille, ella, elud, ilius, 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 ili, 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 ilum, elam, elud, illo, ella, illo. And now the plurals. Ili, ili, illa, illorum, illarum, illorum, ilis, 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 ilos, ilas, illa, ilis, ilis, ilis. Facile. And now we come to the demonstrative pronoun meaning that, or that very, or that nasty. Este, esta, estud. So let's take a look at the forms, starting with the nominative singular. Este, esta, estud. Istius, istius, istius for the genitive. Isti, isti, isti for the dative. Istum, istam, istud for the accusative. Isto, ista, isto for the ablative. For the plurals, we have isti, istai, ista, istorum, istarum, istorum, istis, 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 istos, istas, ista, and finally istis, istis, istis. And finally, we come to the emphatic pronoun of the third person, ipse, ipsa, ipsum, meaning himself, herself, or itself, and in the plural, themselves. So let's take a look at those forms, starting with the nominative singular of the masculine, ipse, the feminine ipsa, the neuter ipsum, ipsius, ipsius, ipsius for the genitive, ipsi, ipsi, ipsi for the dative, accusative, ipsum, ipsam, ipsum for the ablative, ipso, ipsa, ipso. For the plurals, we have ipsi, ipsi, ipsa, ipsorum, ipsarum, ipsorum, ipsis, 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 ipsos, ipsas, ipsa, and finally ipsis, ipsis, ipsis. So let's see ipse in action. Here we have an example. The master himself prepared the dinner. Magister ipse canem paravit. See how the ipse lays emphasis, further emphasis, on magister? Here's another example. The soldiers conquered the city for themselves. Milites urbem ipsis vincurunt. Now notice while milites is in the nominative, we've shifted to ipsis in the dative. The ipsis, nevertheless, lays emphasis back on the milites, on the soldiers, for themselves. Thank you all for joining me today for Latin for Non-Romans. I look forward to seeing everyone next time.